as local news gets. News 12, the Bronx.
He's laying on the ground. You see a lot of blood. He's screaming for help. I called 911.
Those words from a woman who went to help a man shot early this morning on Union Avenue. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Kelsey Minor. That man was shot several times, at least one of the bullets striking his head. It's a story you saw first here on 12. Now he's fighting for his life in the hospital. The gunman still on the loose. News 12 The Bronx reporter John Diaz joins us from the scene on Union Avenue. And John, what's the very latest?
Send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, John Diaz, thank you so much for that report. All right, let's talk weather on the twos now with meteorologist Mike Favetta. And Mike, a gorgeous start to the day, right?
Oh yeah, this was the sunrise this morning. Now, snow on the first day of spring. Details to come.
Only in New York, right, Mike?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, see you soon. Another shooter still wanted this hour, and police still investigating what led to a deadly shooting in Soundview yesterday. It's a story you saw first here on 12. The 21-year-old man was shot dead in broad daylight right in front of the building he lived in. It also happened to be right near the News 12 The Bronx newsroom, so our crew arrived just moments after it happened, catching the rescue efforts. Daryl Samuels was shot multiple times in the chest just after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He died at Jacoby Medical Center. Cops found this .380 caliber gun near the scene, which is also just a block away from the 43rd Police Precinct. Witnesses say they heard 7 to 9 shots fired, many now worried about their own safety and that of others in the community. Now, if you have any information on the gunman, call Crime Stoppers, the number 1-800-577-TIPS. All calls will remain confidential. And as you can imagine, this story is generating a lot of back and forth on our Facebook page. JT Fetch is here now with a closer look at that. JT? In news around the country now, a convicted kidnapper tries a pretty unique method to try to get the judge to be lenient with his sentence.
Hello there, Your Honor, I want to say I'm sorry.
Brian Earl Taylor from Michigan belted out in his version of Adele's smash hit Hello. Reacting to the crook's soulful plea, Judge Darlene O'Brien said that he was obviously a talented young man, but she still sentenced him up to 17 years in prison. I'm Kelsey Minor, and you're watching News 12 The Bronx on a Friday. And we are as local news gets. Another check on your hyper-local weather on the twos is just ahead. Plus, missing meters in Parkchester making it hard for drivers. We'll tell you where they're gone and what the DOT is doing about it. Thanks for watching News 12 The Bronx. I'm Kelsey Minor. Missing parking meters in Parkchester have neighbors up in arms about the distance they have to go just to avoid getting a ticket. About a week ago, residents say they noticed the meter in front of the Chicken Fest on Parkchester Circle was missing without any warning. Instead, they found an old orange Department of Transportation cone in its place. They're calling it a huge inconvenience for drivers who frequent the area because they now have to walk down the block, around the corner, and halfway down the next block to find the next closest meter.
Nobody tells you nothing. You come over here. You park, you don't want to get a $65 ticket, and it's very hard.
It makes me really angry that they don't consider the distance that we have to walk. Instead of them putting more for our convenience, they make it more difficult.
The Department of Transportation telling News 12 in a statement, the DOT is aware of 3 meters removed at this location for construction work by outside entities. We are working with those entities to expedite reinstallation of these meters. Now, of course, we want to hear from you on all of this. Just head over to Facebook and search for News 12 The Bronx and leave us a comment. Bronx police had a busy morning on Bogart Avenue. They say a man with a gun was on a roof and at first didn't want to come down. Police say he did eventually surrender without any struggle. No word yet on any charges. Over to East 137th Street now, where a man died in police custody. Police were called to the scene on Wednesday for what they call an emotionally disturbed person. They say when they arrived, they found a woman who was concerned about her husband. While they were speaking to her, 55-year-old Richard Gonzalez came out and tried to pull the woman back into their apartment. The officers then struggled with the man and put him in custody. They say he then began showing signs of distress. EMS came a minute later and rushed him to the hospital, but he died. The investigation there is still ongoing. Police and the FBI are investigating a threatening letter sent to Donald Trump's son, Eric. An envelope with a suspicious white powder was reportedly sent to his Manhattan apartment yesterday. Officials say the substance was not hazardous and no one was hurt. Officials are not disclosing who the letter targeted at this time. Primary day in New York is almost a month away. Voters will head to the polls on April 19th, choosing candidates to represent both parties in the general election. The polls are only open to registered members of the Democratic or Republican parties. We spoke to officials from the city's Board of Election on how they're preparing for the voter turnout.
We're open from 6 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, and we encourage everyone to come out to vote. We're having a party. Everyone's invited. Come down, vote, participate in your democracy. It's important for you, it's important for your community, and it's important for your country.
Also in the news, Governor Cuomo says negotiating this year's state budget is one of the most difficult he's had to deal with. He says one of the issues that's making it so challenging is his push to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Some Republicans have concerns that proposals would hurt small businesses. Lawmakers are hoping to complete the budget by May 1st. All right, it's time to talk weather on the Twos again. Meteorologist Mike Pavetta is standing by in the Weather Center only to tell us it's good until later.
Later on this weekend.